Sorry, Jack. Chucky's back. Let's talk about Child's Play 2. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 1990 slasher flick, sequel that is, Child's Play 2, released by Universal, directed by John LaFia, one of the co-writers of the first film, written by Don Mancini. Now, in this film, which is set 2 years later after the first film, Charles Lee Ray, better known as Chucky, continues his pursuit for young Andy Barkley, who was placed in foster care after transferring his soul into him after being resurrected. Now, Brad Dourif returns as the voice of Chucky, and Alex Vincent returns as Andy. Plus, we have Gerrit Graham and Jenny Agutter and Christina Elise. This also marks the film debut of Adam Wiley, as a matter of fact. Yes. But anyway, now first off, if you haven't seen my re-review for the first Child's Play, I advise you to click on that card, come out, there we go, and watch that, if you miss it, or if you want to see it again. Because I'm doing this in order to promote the premiere of the Chucky TV series, which will be coming up next week on USA and Sci-Fi. I am looking forward to it. I just saw its final trailer. It looks good. It's going to be a good one. Okay, here we go. 2 years after the defeat of Chucky, the Plague Pals Corporation, which produces the Good Guy dolls, recovers and reassembles the dolls' remains to reassure its stockholders after the negative publicity from the murders. During the process, a power surge occurs and one of the assembly line workers is electrocuted. Mr. Sullivan, the executive of the company, orders his assistant Matson to cover up the accident and dispose of Chucky, unaware that the accident has revived the doll. Well, anyway, Andy Barkley, meanwhile, now 8 years old, has been in foster care ever since the murders. His mother is in a mental institution, having been pronounced mentally unstable for supporting his story about Chucky. So, Andy goes to live with foster parents Phil and Joanne Simpson, who are also fostering Kyle, a cynical, street-smart teenage girl. Chucky soon discovers Andy's whereabouts by using Matson's car phone to call Grace Poole, the manager of Andy's foster center, before he soon hijacks his car at gunpoint. Yeah, it really gets Chucky does. And then I got him, which ends up being a water pistol. Chucky's like, bang, you're dead. Then disappears, and then uses a plastic bag to suffocate him, and giving an evil laugh every time. Once some Chucky reaches the Simpson house, Chucky infiltrates the home by destroying another good guy doll called Tommy and replacing it with himself. And after Chucky destroys an heirloom that Joanne forbade the kids to touch, Phil punishes both of them for smashing it. Yep. So Andy spends the rest of the day bonding with Kyle, initially believing Chucky to be an ordinary good guy doll. That night, Chucky ties Andy to his bed and reveals himself. Yes, this comes one of my favorite moments. Surprise! Did you miss me, Andy? I sure missed you. I told you we were gonna be friends to the end, and now it's time to play. He reveals he's got a new game, and it's called Hide the Soul. So he starts doing that that their voodoo chant, but suddenly hears a noise coming. Yeah, forgive my use of language. Like, this isn't over, you little shit. I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life as a plastic freak. Next time you're alone, you're mine. So apparently, Kyle has entered the room before Chucky can complete the ritual to possess Andy. Kyle disbelieves Andy's assertions about Chucky, while Phil and Joanne believe Kyle to be responsible and throw Chucky in the basement, where he realizes that he's becoming human after suffering a nosebleed. It's like, no! I'm turning human again? If I don't get all this body soon, I'm screwed. The next day, Chucky secretly follows Andy to school. Now, apparently, Andy's teacher, Miss Kellwell, finds his homework defaced with vulgarity, summons him to stay for detention, unaware that Chucky was the culprit, of course. Apparently, that's once Kellwell leaves Andy locked up. Andy checks the closet. That's where Chucky was. Peekaboo is like, please let me out of here, Andy. It's dark in here. I really don't mean to laugh. He's like, I promise I won't kill anybody else, okay? It's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Sorry, I don't want to really say that other word because that would be taking the Lord's name in vain. Thank you. And, well, you know the rest. So Cal, comes back and thinks Andy's hiding for her now. And soon, Chucky manages to stab her with an air pump and comes out. I almost thought it was a rule, but after seeing many people's reviews, I made an error. It's actually, it was a yardstick. You've been very naughty, Miss Kellwell. And yeah, and man, that's, yeah. Andy escaped from the window before this even happened. Later, Andy tries to tell his foster parents about this, but Phil refuses to believe him and considers returning him to the foster home. And that night, Andy sneaks into the basement to destroy Chucky with an electric knife, but Chucky overpowers him. Phil arrives to investigate the commotion, but Chucky trips him with a hook on a stick. And he's giving this weird look at him. Chucky's like, how's it hanging, Phil? And causing Phil to fall to his death. To find Phil, Joanne immediately assumes Andy to be responsible and promptly sends him back to the foster center. Kyle discovers Tommy buried in the garden and realizes Andy was being honest. She rushes to warn Joanne, whom Chucky has already killed, in an off-screen kill, it pains me to say. Chucky ambushes Kyle and forces her to drive him to the foster center where Andy has been sent. Boy, he's just... Yeah, when they're driving, it's like, how much further till we get to the kid? Kyle's just like, oh, ways. And it's like, step on it! Oh, boy. Crazy. Yeah. But I'm not going to try and get into too much. I don't really want to use much more language, okay? So I apologize. At the foster center, Chucky clears the building by pulling the fire alarm and manages to stab Grace to death and forces Andy to take him to the Plate Pals toy factory for the transfer. Yes, but first, like, playing a little game of Chucky Says. Now, this is just using light language, but Chucky Says, move your ass. It's like, snap out of it! You act like you've never snapped that body before! So Kyle pursues him to the factory where Chucky knocks Andy unconscious and completes the ritual. As he about to start, it's like, this is it, world! From now on, no more Mr. Good Guy. So he starts the chant, and soon after the ritual's been completed, he suffers a nosebleed, despairingly realizing it's too late to transfer his soul into Andy, and is now permanently trapped inside the doll. Alright, for the final act, you know the procedure as always, 5 seconds to stop, go to the description box below, fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, continue on after the 5 seconds. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. In a Villainous Breakdown, he goes after both Andy and Kyle, Chucky does, intending to kill them. As Andy and Kyle search for an exit, Chucky chases them over the machinery. Kyle slams a gate shut on Chucky's hand, which Chucky tears off and replaces with a makeshift blade. After he gets the blade, he's like, I hate kids. After Chucky murders a factory technician with the eyeball machine, and yeah. Kyle and Andy knock the doll into some machinery that mutilates him. Chucky escapes from the machinery by cutting off his own mixed waste. Yeah, I got you now, Andy. And you know what I'm gonna do to you? I'm gonna cut your legs too. And goes for, but his hand gets stuck in a radiator when he attempts to stab Andy. Andy then pours molten plastic all over Chucky. The half-melted Chucky suddenly attacks him again once he recovers. In the struggle, Kyle shoves a high-pressure air hose into Chucky's mouth, blowing up his head. And Andy and Kyle exit the factory and walk off together, unsure of where to go. So she's like, I have no idea where we're going. End of story, my friends. So, what did I think of Child's Play 2? I love this movie. It's my favorite Child's Play franchise. Well, or should I say, the Chucky franchise. Okay? Anyway, this was actually the first Child's Play movie I ever saw. Never saw the original until after this. After this film and its predecessor, which was completely rushed, which came out 9 months later. The film got released in November of 1990 through Universal, which gained the rights after MGM and United Artists had already had a little bit of success with the first one. The film did okay. It made $35 million and still went on to become a little bit of a classic in ways. So anyway, I think this film was pretty good, and I'd say it's one of the best. Now, of course, with our cast, we have Alex Vincent back as Andy and Brad Dourif as Chucky. Christina Elise is very good as Kyle. I think she's supposed to be reprising that role in the Chucky series. I'm pretty sure she is. Let me check for a second. Yeah, we're in luck. We'll be seeing her in the Chucky series. Good. She recently did make a cameo in one of the previous Chucky movies before the Child's Play reboot came out. Jane Agutter does a good job in playing Mrs. Simpson. Of course, after I saw her in American Werewolf in London, and actually a few months before this, the same year this came out, she made an uncredited appearance in another Universal flick, and that, of course, was Darkman. And Gerrit Graham, who I've seen him in some movies. Chopping Mall, most notably, since that became a cult classic as Mr. Simpson. Grace Zabriskie plays Grace Poole, who isn't too bad. Peter Haskell's Mr. Sullivan. Beth Grant playing Miss Caldwell. Yeah, not bad. Greg German as Madsen. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Let me see now. I'm trying to check here. Oh yeah, I think the kid Adam Wiley, he plays a kid. He plays a kid called Sammy. I think that's the kid who picked on Andy on the school bus and in his classroom. I believe. I think, but I can't guarantee you that. I might be wrong. Or no, maybe I am right. Sorry, because that was his first film. But anyway, story's pretty good and all. And Graham Revell did the score for it. Of course, he do lots of others works as well. This was actually his second 1990s film, but it would be his third film overall because he recently did the music for movies like were Dead, Calm, and Spontaneous Combustion. Don't remember much of those. He'd also do the music for other movies like The People Under the Stairs, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, The Crush. Let's see, No Escape, Street Fighter, Tank Girl, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, Spawn. Oh, the list goes on. Well, although it wouldn't return to do the music for the next movie, but he would return to do the music for Bride of Chucky, though, the fourth movie, though. But with all that said, would I recommend this? Oh, but before I do before I give you my answer, the kills were good too. Much better than the first movie, but you don't have to take my word for it. But hey, who am I kidding? The kills were good. Well, except maybe for Mrs. Simpson, which was an off-screen. That was just a disappointing one. But anyway, with a lot of good moments and Chucky's one-liners, I think Child's Play 2 is awesome. So would I recommend it? Hell yeah! If you're a completionist into the Chucky movies, I'd say give it a go. And maybe a one-time watch and see if you like this. But I think you'll like this, though. I know you will. But anyway, if you have seen Child's Play 2, tell me what you thought about in the comments section, please. Leave your comment in the comments section below, like always. Click the like button if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a re-review of Child's Play 3. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to check some of these other films out. In the upper left-hand corner is the review I did for, well, one of the films I just mentioned, that being An American Werewolf in London, which recently turned 40, couple months back, well, almost a couple months ago. In the upper right-hand corner is my review for, well, one of the first slasher films I saw, and that was Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master from 1988. Or if you like, maybe you should check out something that's even more, well, darker, but not really a horror movie. See my review of Darkman in the bottom left-hand corner. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.